Don't be naive. Carnival is something spiritual, and I'll prove it. Pay close attention, because you will hear some facts you were unaware of. What is really behind Carnival? What is the spirit behind Carnival? Which is something interesting, because when you talk about Carnival, you think about party of the flesh. How can there be spirituality in something that is of the flesh? Yes, it is a spirit, not connected to God, but it is a spirit. Let's learn some facts about Carnival. When you search for the word's origin, goes beyond party of the flesh, because Carnival, in its original meaning, means a farewell to the flesh. It is a kind of bachelor's or stag party. I will use this comparison. When a man will get married, some men who see marriage, now I will be faithful to one single woman, I will live the singlehood, the life of clubbing, nights out, dating, as I will get married and I will become a good husband, so let me have a last enjoyment as single. So they created this idea of bachelor's stag party. And on that party, only men attend, and they bring prostitutes, they bring song, and all promiscuity. A fiancé, in a few days, will get married, and that they may give in to everything their flesh will no longer practice, supposedly, after they are married. You understand the concept. You might have seen that in films, and some circles of people, they do that. Carnival has the same reasoning. Why is Carnival a farewell to the flesh? And then the spiritual side comes in. Have you noticed that Carnival falls on a different date in Brazil every year? It's because it's directly linked to Easter. Carnival is directly linked to the Holy Week, and this is another fact. If you look in the world, Carnival is celebrated in countries of Catholic tradition, because Carnival was created in countries from this tradition. Why? Because in the Catholic tradition, there is Lent, a period of 40 days before the Holy Week, that supposedly the faithful dedicate themselves to sanctification, to fasting, to giving up some sort of pleasure. It is a kind of spiritual diet, per se, a fasting in preparation for the Holy Week, the pinnacle of the Christian calendar. So Carnival always falls 40 days before the Holy Week. Just check the calendar. And why every year changes? This is a more complicated explanation. It has to do with the lunar calendar, directly connected to the moon phases, when the Holy Week will fall and when the Carnival fall, and then after the Holy Week, the Pentecost. So you see that all is spiritual. There's a spiritual backdrop. And why? Carnival before the Holy Week. It's the farewell of the flesh. People created the idea. Since we will spend 40 days with our head down, 40 days without satisfying the flesh for the Holy Week, why don't we have a party to give that last pleasure to the flesh, to cheer up for the last time before the Lent, before the Holy Week, the flesh. So they created the party called Carnival, the farewell to the flesh. And as it is a farewell to the flesh, using another analogy, we have this type of behavior in many aspects of life. I spoke about the bachelor's party, but also when the person is going to start the diet on Monday. I will start a strict diet on Monday. And on the weekend, on Saturday, they eat pizza, they eat hamburgers, they drink fizzy drinks, they eat ice cream, they do everything they can do during the diet. Did you understand the reasoning? That's it. That's Carnival. Look at the hypocrisy. It's the pinnacle of hypocrisy. Because if the idea is we will enter a period of sanctification, supposedly, a time, I'm talking about Catholic tradition, if you're going to enter a period that you will focus on a holy event, the death of Jesus on the cross, the Easter, why fall into sin now? Why dive head first into the flesh, which is contrary to what you are proposing to do for 40 days? In other words, Carnival is the pinnacle of hypocrisy. The pinnacle of hypocrisy. I want to prepare for Easter, but before, I will do everything my flesh wants. Before I seek God, I'm going to lie down with the devil. Before seeking God. This is the idea behind Carnival, the spirit behind Carnival. It is the pinnacle of hypocrisy. It's the pinnacle of enjoying the flesh, surrendering to flesh, to sin, to the human inclinations. Is the pinnacle of everything contrary to God. Now I ask you, and what is the mind that you think is behind this idea? Which mind? Who conceived this idea? Where did this idea come from? Since you are going to give yourself to God, then first give yourself to me. Did you understand? Don't be naive. Carnival is something deeply spiritual. The mind behind Carnival, it is the satanic mind, diabolical mind. It's not by chance that in this period of Carnival, houses of religion, I don't know if you are aware of that, places of worship for the devil, where they worship entities, these places close their doors, they cease their activities. Why? Because the spirits go to the streets. And why do the spirits go to the streets? Because the people are more than ever opening their bodies, opening their lives, minds, and hearts, that these spirits may take advantage of this period and to use them to satisfy their evil desires. See that there is an increase of bad things. You see, what increases during Carnival is bad. Increases the garbage in the city, betrayals, robberies, drunkenness, traffic accidents, people being admitted to A&Es in hospitals, unwanted pregnancies. Everything that is evil increases. Why? It's because people are going to the streets to meet the spirits who also went to the streets, and they are making a kind of wedding. People with demons. So they are saying to the demons, use me, because I want to do everything I always wanted to do, and I have never had the chance. This is what happens during Carnival. That is why you shouldn't be naive and think the Carnival is merely popular culture, a party of joy, and that those who criticize want to be a killjoy. No, those who have just a little understanding of history. What I'm explaining to you is history. It's not coming from my head. Do your research. And if you understand how spiritual it is, then you'll have some sense and will say, my God, far from me anything that has to do with Carnival. Because this is the question. Before all this history, this reality, which is not only in the past, it's also in the present. Nothing has changed. Things are just getting worse and worse, year by year. Are you certain that with all that as a backdrop behind Carnival, you want to have any involvement with that? Are you sure? So don't be naive. Wake up. In the next message, we will go on talking about that, telling you what to do. But maybe you say, I hate Carnival, I don't like Carnival, but you are affected anyway. Whether you like it or not, we all are affected by it. Maybe we're more neutral. I don't hate, but I don't like it, I just respect it. Maybe you're more neutral, like Switzerland. Or maybe you already have your costume ready, and you're already in a pre-Carnival period. Don't miss tomorrow's message. We'll talk more about that. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.